Whole New World. Yes, you all are familiar with this song from Aladdin. The once great Disney had some great movies out and always have some good songs. But here we are, Whole New World. I just wanted to come out here and explain some things to you guys. First of all, I'm Jason Grandon, your host for the Lockbox. Some of you still know it as Arizona Real Estate Showcase. First, I posted this the other day, but I got to talk about it again. Thank you. We were just named Arizona's #1 real estate lifestyle podcast. #1. Hey, I'm telling you, I was total shock. Got an email. I'm like, spam email. Look at it. Went through it, and then I was like, oh my God, this is real. And it was one of these companies that does stuff with podcasts, a big reputable one. And we bid out some big names. So this is 100% for you. So thank you for making the Lockbox, presented by the Grandon Group, Arizona's #1 brother and sister real estate team, the #1 podcast, soon to be #1 video podcast in Arizona. And as we move on. So, and anyways, and if I had a little more motivation, I'd go buy some better equipment. I mean, I'm behind a computer screen and a microphone here, and I feel like I should have the headphones and all that, but I'll get to that point, so this way your listening experience will be better because you guys deserve it. And we'll bring in some guests, and we have a lot of guests coming up. So I wanted to get on this podcast today called A Whole New World. All right, you guys know the song, A Whole New World, things are changing, this and that. So listen. First of all, the Arizona real estate market is hot. If you are sitting on the fence thinking about, I'm going to wait to buy a house, you're waiting too long. Every day that goes by is one day closer to you not being able to buy that house. All right? While the media and the rest of the country say, oh, things aren't great, Arizona is a hot market. So we did an open house yesterday for a $2 million home, and it was packed. So did we sell it? Not yet, but well, it'll sell, but it was crazy. We had a listing the other day, $400,000. We had 13 offers on this house for $400,000, and it's crazy. So and that was in Black Canyon City, by the way. Things are moving along, so do not miss the boat. It's a whole new world. So listen, I've had several emails and calls and stuff about this NAR deal, the National Association of Realtors, changing things. Listen. First of all, there is nothing definitive out of it, so I refuse to kind of comment on anything that's not definitive. I know the media and half these morons on social media sit there and tell you what they think it is, but it's not the case. And I got news for you, things will be changing. But, first of all, a lot of people think it's just about commissions, which it's not. There's a whole lot of stuff that was in that lawsuit. So let's just wait till everything comes out. It's business as usual. The big thing that my sister and I have found that works in real estate is not necessarily, you call up an agent and you're like, I need to sell my house. First of all, we work for you. Plain and simple. This is a job interview. Okay. So Mr. Buyer, Mr. Seller, you guys want to buy or sell a house, as you should, personally. You need to call up the Grandon Group, Arizona's #1 brother and sister real estate team, and you need to say, hey, I would like to interview you for a job. Okay, Mr. Buyer, Mr. Seller, what is that job? I have a house that I need to sell. I bought it 10 years ago, blah, 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 blah. And then the agents, the realtors, should come to you and sell you. Now, is there a fee? Yes, of course. That's how we make a living. We all have families to feed. But you know what? If you're going to pay the fee, then you should get the service. So marketing is a key piece. And this goes both sides, buyer or seller, all right? If you're buying a house, your realtor, preferably the Grandon Group, your realtor should have great communication and marketing skills. They've got to be able to find stuff that you want. So you call up as a seller, or as a buyer, sorry. You call up as a buyer and you're like, Jason, I want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, single level with a pool, and I want enough room for my dog in the backyard. And so for me to send you a townhome with a 5x5 yard is not listening to you. Guess what? In a corporation, in a regular business, you're going to get fired. If I go to Taco Bell and I order a double-decker Supreme no tomato, which is a taco, and I don't eat those too much, but I do once in a while. Anyways, if you order one of those and they give you a burrito, that's not what I ordered. So you send it back and you do it again. Eventually, you're going to get tired of taking it back and you're going to be like, you know what? I'm going over to Cafe Rio where they make the taco that I ordered correctly. That's all there is to it. So in this whole new world, I think people that are going to venture into real estate, now I'm not talking the realtors, I'm talking the buyers and sellers. I think as a buyer and seller, you guys need to step back and realize that, yes, we're working for you. Now there's always something like this. And this is kind of funny. Several years back, before I get into this, several years back, I had a guy call. Now, it was brand new in real estate. Let's see, 20 years. Yeah, so this is about 15 years ago. So I'm about 5 years into it. And it's very difficult to get big listings, like multi-million-dollar listings, because there are some really good agents that do it, that have been doing it, so that's their wheelhouse. So to break in that wheelhouse is tough, but we do it, and we've gotten in there. So, but this is a long time ago. So this guy calls me, and he has a house over near the Biltmore, which is a very high-end area of Phoenix, and he's like, Jason, I want to interview for my house. It's going to be about $5-6 million. And come on over. So, of course, I head over there, meet with him. Great conversation. We had a good time. And the job was all but mine. But here's the thing. He came back and he's like, listen, I want to hire you, but here's what I expect from you. I need you here. I need to meet with you at least 3 times a week. I need you in a suit and tie. And you need to be available basically 24/7. So basically, it was going to be his assistant, which this particular job would have taken me from being able to service any other real estate. So, and the other thing was, he'd been through a couple of the other big boys in town, and they turned it down. There's a little bit of excessive. So some people don't want bosses like that, some do. So needless to say, it's one of those deals where if you take that, it's suicide on the other jobs that you're trying to get. So as a seller or a buyer, you should really, it's highly recommended that you interview your agents. Pick 3, 4, just like you would a regular job. Sit down with them, go grab a cup of coffee, invite them over, whatever it is, and let them sell you to work for you. All right? So after that's done, you need to make sure the agent you hire has enough money to market your house. Or if you're a buyer, you got to make sure they have enough money and enough clout where they can get one of the big agents on the phone. Because some of the agents do not answer phones to new agents, or they're rude or whatever. So you've got to have an agent that can communicate with the other agents, and being able to call and say, listen, I've got this great buyer who's looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. They want a bigger yard. So what does a bigger yard mean? You should have clarified that with the seller. First of all, as the realtor should have. But what is a big enough yard? 4,000 square foot lot is not going to be big enough if you've got a Rottweiler or a Mastiff. So you probably want, I don't know, maybe 8,000 to 10,000 feet. Maybe you want a 24,000 square foot lot. Those are just kind of things you need to clarify. And people need to step into your shoes and just say, hey, this is what their lifestyle is. Which brings me to a whole new point. And actually, I had one of the guys who's moving here from Kansas. He emailed the other day. We're looking for houses for him right now. And he was like, Jason, last time I was out there, and I wasn't working with him yet, last time I was out there, I noticed that the areas are different. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I didn't want, sometimes people get into things that we're not allowed to talk about that are off him. So I want to see where he was going with this. And he's like, Jason, I was over in Chandler, and and he was in South Chandler. So he was south of the 202, which many of you may or may not know. Chandler's beautiful. It got one of the best school districts. The Kyrene School District is absolutely awesome. But he was South 202, which tends to be in Chandler more green, a little more, so we'll say upscale. Okay, there's great places in Chandler, but as you go farther south in Chandler, especially on the south of the 202, you're going to see the bigger homes along the water and stuff like that. So he's like, I was over there and in one of the communities, and then I drove up into a community called Ironwood in Scottsdale. So now he's a big difference, Scottsdale and Chandler, and he was North Scottsdale. And he was just like, it was a totally different vibe. Down in Chandler, I saw people out walking around playing, but in this community in North Scottsdale, I didn't see anyone out. It was just kind of like they pulled in the garage, shut it, and went in, which is funny because this place in North Scottsdale just happens to be by some big trails where people are out doing stuff, and he saw those. But in this little community, this little pocket, he didn't see anything. So the most important thing to know is your lifestyle. I don't know it. You know your lifestyle. Every community in Arizona, I don't care if we're in Flagstaff, Williams, Prescott, Payson, Scottsdale, Paradise Valley, wherever we're at, every single community has a different personality. It's important to know this when you guys are thinking about buying or selling. Because if we're selling a house in that area where people just pull into the garage and shut the garage and go inside, not that we're going to tell people that, but there's a way to market to people like that. Do you know what I mean? So it's pretty simple. Whereas if you go into a community like, I don't know, Fulton Ranch, any given day, especially after school, like 3:30, 4 o'clock, any given day, you go to the south end of Fulton Ranch, it is inundated with kids. Weekends is families, soccer, softball, tennis, pickleball, you name it. People walking the trails over there. It's crazy. You come up here into DC Ranch, Wingate Ranch, Silverleaf, North Scottsdale area, or specifically, I was just there this weekend, North Peoria. There's miles and miles of walking trails. In fact, Saturday morning around 9 o'clock, I would venture to say you probably couldn't find a parking spot in most of the parking lots where the trails are at. You're going to park, you're going to hike it to go hike. Camelback Mountain on the weekends, forget about it. It is inundated with people doing stuff. Arizona's a lifestyle state. So keep that in mind when you guys are thinking about buying and selling, and you're choosing a realtor that has to know the lifestyle. So if you're selling a home in, let's just say, Flagstaff, Arizona, and you decide you want to interview an agent from, I don't know, let's say Tucson, Arizona, do they know the lifestyle? Probably not. I mean, yeah, I go up there and go skiing sometimes. It's pretty cool. You've got to really narrow that kind of stuff down. So it's not just, hi, you seem like a really nice guy and you can do this. The other thing is, as I get back to what we were talking about before, it is important that your agent that you hire, specifically the Grandon Group, and I like to say that, thanks again, we are Arizona's #1 brother and sister team, and we are powered by My Home Group, which is, I believe, the second largest real estate independent firm out here, and it's actually a really good company. And so our marketing internationally is just incredible. So, but it's important to know that when you guys go to buy or sell a house, that your realtor has enough money to market. Okay, marketing is not cheap. If you're going to sell your house, I mean, generally on a 3,000 square foot home, before we even get started with putting a sign in the yard or anything like that, we're nearly $1,000 into it just with pictures and printing. So it's important to know that. Also, you gotta like what you're doing. So, and we love it. We're good at. My sister's fantastic at it. I would almost venture to say she might be better than me at some of this stuff. So, just joking. That ain't not gonna happen. But she is good. So listen. It's a whole new world out there. This whole NAR deal, don't let it throw you off thinking, oh, we don't have to do this or that. Commissions have always been negotiable. There's some people that come in and, they don't realize realtors work hard. And this is how we make our money and stuff. So when they come in, they're like, I want you to sell my house. I'm willing to give you 1%. So there's agents out there that'll do it. There's a new program that I see, one of the big agencies that was all over TV for a while. The market's changed. All of a sudden they came out with some low package where you sit the open house, you do everything, and then they'll sell it, and they'll do it for like $1 or something like that. It's ridiculous. So listen, real estate is the most important investment of your life, whether you're buying or selling. And the other thing is, we've talked about it in past episodes, many of you are going to buy a house not looking at it as, oh, this is an investment. I'm going to buy it right now and then I'm going to turn around and sell it in 3 years. No. Many of you are buying it. You're like, okay, I'm going to live in it. You're going to fix it up. You're going to take really good care of it. The fact of the matter is, it is an investment. And whether you're there, I mean, I thought we were only be in our house for like 3 or 4 years. We're going on 7. And it kept up with it and stuff. You're going to get to a point where you're just like, okay, I paid X amount for this house. Time flies, as we all know, it goes fast. 5 years, 10 years from now, you're like, okay, I'm ready to sell it. You're going to realize that, oh my God, that house I paid $350,000 for 10 years ago, I got $1 million for it. So, discussions with your realtors. It's a whole new world out there. It has to be run like a business. Plain and simple. There's nothing else involved in it. You've got to be able to click with your employees. Your employees have to be able to complete a task. And listen, with that said, you are hiring the professionals. You're hiring the realtors. So you've got to let them do their job, but let them tell you what they're doing and make sure they follow through with it. Many times you get a seller, they'll come in and say, okay, I want you to do this, this, and this. Many of those this, and thises have already been tried. They don't work. So let the realtor do what they do, but interview them first. Make sure it's going to be a good fit for you. Make sure the place you're moving to is a lifestyle that fits you. It's important. If you're an empty nester and your kids are out of the house now and you're just like, okay, we want to start scaling down, we just want to relax, we want quiet, don't move in next to a house full of kids. It's probably going to irritate you and it's just going to be a bad start. Those are the things you want to know. And that's the things we talk about and do here at the Grandon Group, Arizona's #1 brother and sister real estate team. Okay, hey, hope you guys have enjoyed it. So there is so much stuff going on. Let me just get to this real quick before I let you go. We are in April in Arizona. We are at 76 degrees. It is absolutely beautiful out here, folks. Hiking, biking, riding, running, going outside, shopping. It is beautiful out here. It is absolutely perfect. Shorts weather, t-shirt, maybe a light sweater at night. It is absolutely perfect. The restaurants are packed. And hey, I'm not talking just Maricopa County. I'm talking Flagstaff, for example. So Flagstaff's still cold, so you're going to need pants and a jacket up there. They still got some snow. And Prescott and the northern areas are still cold. But they're happening. There are so many things going on that we just got done with the final four for the guys tonight. But we're finished up that. This town has been packed. Bike week just finished up. Absolutely packed. Thousands and thousands of bikers incented over here in Cave Creek and Scottsdale. We've got some new buyers from it. Some new people. It came to Arizona. And they're just like, this is absolutely amazing. We never thought Arizona was like this. Folks, there are some great places here in Arizona. I mean, some places maybe you hadn't even thought about going. Wickenburg, great. It is an absolute cowboy town, and it's big trucks, and it's very, very nice. You know what else? Kingman, Arizona is growing immensely. Puts you about 2 hours from Vegas, an hour from Laughlin, Nevada. And, if you want a little bit more rural, go towards Bullhead City. North Payson. I have been having an absolute blast in Payson. So I'm a native here, as many of you know, and we work up in Payson, Chaparral Pines, and then also in the city of Payson. Let me tell you about some of the people there. You pull in first and you're like, okay, not much, whatever, it's Payson. But I'll tell you what, the people are really, really cool. It is an absolute blast. Family, community. It's just got a great small town vibe in a growing area. And then recently I just visited a new place called Tonto Basin. 15 miles from Payson. You go towards Payson, and then you have to head back because it's on the backside of the mountain. And what a great community. Very small town. It fit the small town vibe. And so anyways, there's those places. Call us up. Let us fill you in on them and stuff. It's a great lifestyle here. April is a fantastic month to be here. As we start heading into summer, you'll see it warm up. May, keep our fingers crossed, is going to not be too bad. June, July, August. June's generally mediocre, but, it gets warm. But you know what? Jump in the pool. We'll talk about pools on the next episode. Everybody, thank you again for making us the number one podcast. I am Jason Grandon with the Grandon Group, brokered by My Home Group. We are Arizona's number one brother and sister real estate team. We are also full-time agents for your full-time life. Hey, you guys, enjoy your drive. Thanks for listening again. Call me up. My information's on the page here, so call me up if you need anything. If you have any real estate questions, just call up or go on our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We will get you hooked up. You guys have a good one. We will talk to you in the next episode. Take care.